my stupid little like tea leaf ball like doesn't like the tea that I have, the leaves are too small and some of it seeped out of the ball. I hate when that happens. Okay, I think we've landed just in time for me to say the leaves are they slipped out of the ball. It just sounded weird. All right, hitting record. Here
Whenever
we are.
I've gone to tea ceremonies, hi Michael,
Sister Nino first. He's got the number one crown, man.
they keep the little tea leaves in the Japanese bowls and we just kind of sip around them or spit them out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not usually too offended by something like that, but these ones are a little in this way that like I could see myself taking a sip and then ending up with something in my teeth while we're on the
I would tell you because I'm a good
yeah.
friend.
Yeah. Anywho, so oh,
Did
sister
I ever
Nina.
tell you? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just
This
sister
is
Nina. Keep going. What's
just
funny?
to stick with our pattern of me opening up with super embarrassing stories.
Do it.
So years, lifetimes ago, I went to some sort of art party where I was given a gift bag that was full of a million things, and one of the things was an American Apparel unitard.
Nice.
So I wore this American Apparel unitard to yoga for at least a decade, at which point it attracts holes and whatnot. And in
Yep.
LA, there was this whole distinction between East Side Ashtanga yogis and West Side tourist yogis. West Side tourist yogis, Lululemon, the whole deal. East Side, it's like ripped up wife beaters, shredded sweatpants, and that's how it is. So I'm in a West Side yoga class with this demonic teacher who ultimately became one of those what's the
The
name of that?
spirituality.
Yes, one of those psychos.
Yeah.
And this guy was a true abusive demonic psychopath. So I was always at the front of the room just so I didn't see other people. And the whole class was very straddle heavy. And I thought that that was kind of odd. So he has us take a straddle and like bend over and take hold of our ankles. And then, so it's inhale, extend your body, exhale, fold in. And as I fold in, I see a tampon string hanging out of my 10-year holy unitard that no one told me for like 45 minutes of class. And his whole thing during the class was like, we're a community. We deal with everything as a community. And I'm like, fuck it. Then we're going to deal with my tampon string as a community because it's already been hanging out for half of class. So I'm just going to leave it there.
Wow. That's a good one.
Thanks.
That's a good one. The someone sent me like there's a guy here in Austin who's like trying to help the techno scene here, right? And he's sort of asking me for a lot of advice. And so we've been sharing like sending sets back and forth and talking about ideas. But he sent me, and it was funny because I had seen it come into my my feed, but I had just ignored it because I figured it was like a meme or something like that. I didn't think it was real. Like somebody posted a set by a DJ named Fart in the Club, DJ Fart in the Club. Right? And my friend is like, he's like, I started listening. It's actually pretty good, right? That is like a serious DJ name. That is the DJ's name is Fart in a Club.
Is it in the club like DA?
It may have been something like that. Yeah. Actually, I think it was just DJ Fartin Club. I think it was just DJ Fart in Club, like that, right? Uh,
Okay, no articles, article free.
yeah, article free.
So I
Uh,
just realized this literally happens every show when you ask me what I bring. I forget that I send you a million things on Instagram
Instagram.
and then we never acknowledge them because I forget that I've done that.
Okay, I will myself or Jana or Sister Nino or someone if we get to the place where we're asking for comments, questions, blah blah blah, and we have not addressed Danny's Instagram issue, then remind us and we will do
Okay,
so. All
cool.
right.
Thank you.
So I don't have any clips about this. And it's not something I've put any time or due diligence into, but it's just like this weird, all of a sudden instinct that I got this week about like what really may be behind the Charlie Kirk case. Right? And so I'm just going to say it here because the all of a sudden the Macron being a man was back in the news this week, right? Like,
Saw that.
right? Okay. Like, and one of the things that I have noticed in lots of the stuff that I've paid attention to over the years, even though I have not paid attention to a specific issue, is when it comes up about like which intelligence agencies like are a problem for the United, or like not a problem, but are like ones that could pull some shit off besides, CIA and Mossad, and people will say, okay, like, Russian, British Empire, whatever, MI6, or sometimes you'll hear Iran or Pakistan. But the other one I hear sometimes is that French intelligence is actually quite good. And then I had a thought this week. Like, what if fucking French intelligence pulled this off to get Candace Owens off of the Brigitte Macron story? Because remember, they had said they had Donald Trump call her and asked him to, right? But remember, and she said this just recently in one of her things, the in-between who initially facilitated that thing was Charlie Kirk, was the one who called her and asked I'm asking you as a favor to the president to stop talking about it. So can you imagine if this whole thing was like not Israel, not none of this things that I haven't seen anybody say this yet, but like what if the Macrons had Charlie Kirk taken out just to get Candace Owens off that case and onto another one?
That's the most resonant
Totally,
idea
right?
I've heard about this.
I haven't heard anyone say this. It just like came to me the other day, right? Like I was walking and I was like, oh, I don't know why I didn't think about this before. How about this? Right? To me, it makes the most sense too, because like if you look at the timeline of how all the things rolled out,
Right.
right? It makes a lot of sense. And maybe whatever just came out about Macron this week would have come out 3 or 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago if Candace hadn't been busy doing this other thing.
Although, just playing devil's advocate around this ridiculous idea,
Ridiculous.
because the whole thing is ridiculous. Like, to me, like, for me, it's super low vibe when my adult friends are infighting and call me and try to rope me in. But now you have, like, or at least we had Charlie Kirk intervening with the president of
Right.
the United States. Like, it's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
But if Charlie Kirk was trying to get Candace off of the topic, then you would think that they wouldn't want to take him out because he was on their side in whatever this charade is.
Well, I can't remember if it was, so she didn't admit that it was Charlie Kirk who did that until maybe a week or two, like a week ago or a week and a half ago. But she obviously had already, like, she had told Donald Trump, and this is all so silly to say all this, it sounds ridiculous,
Totally.
that she would stop temporarily and then she was going to continue. And she'd already continued, right? And so maybe whatever, Charlie Kirk didn't do it well. And I don't know how the whole thing went together. But to me, of all the things that resonate is like the retarded way in this world, in which this world actually works, this is it right here.
I think you're right. And I've also coined a new word, normtarded.
Normtarded. I love
Or
it.
normtard.
Oh, and normtard. I love. Oh, can you make shirts?
Of course, to sell to no one except me who buys them for you, like the one you're wearing now.
How many people, wait, how many people in the chat would buy like a shirt, not like announcing themselves as a normtard, but like, or maybe you could make normtard shirts that people in our audience
I could do like a circle slash.
could give to their normies for,
Like they're gonna wear it.
or I like the idea of like Sadie pointing at someone and going, something like that, right?
Or like, don't be a normtard.
Yeah, or just accusing someone of
Use your
being
brain,
yeah, or something. I don't know. Do something with normtard. I like it.
I'll play with it.
I like it. I
Maybe
think
it'll have more legs than my I'm a Jewish American princess, I control the weather shirt.
But maybe normtard is also a good title for the show already.
Yes, agreed.
Normtard. All right, we should like popularize that term so when the shirt shows up, people will want it.
There we go. Now you're thinking like a marketing expert.
All right. Where should we start?
Well, you've been very excited about this Nick Fuentes situation. Do you want to take us into it?
I don't know if I'm excited about it, right? Like I was desperate for something to listen to because there wasn't much. Like, have you ever, how like there might even be a content creator you like, but all of a sudden they they don't do it all the time, but they did something where they just put out like 40 short clips right in a row. And so like it took up your whole fucking feed, right? So that was happening to my feed from someone. And so then I saw this and I started listening, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't fall back asleep. So I just went back to listening to it, right? And, for the most part, I felt like it was it wasn't that interesting of an interview. Obviously, it's a spectacle because they've called each other feds and now they're having an interview together, Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. And I was very disappointed that Nick didn't confront Tucker about the lies or whatever about his father and all that. That would have made it like spicier and juicier and more fun. But I felt like most of the interview was like kind of vanilla, just like more like them trying to iron out between themselves like what they actually think as opposed to what other people say they think. And it wasn't that exciting to listen to. But the
I
last
thought that's what made it good, personally.
look, maybe, I mean, yes, there's an ironing out, so it's a worthwhile listen, but it wasn't exciting. There wasn't some like new thing to get, to be like, ooh, blah blah blah, right?
It
Um,
felt honest to me. So, like, I have not seen a Nick Fuentes before. I've only
oh,
heard
okay,
rumors about
okay,
him.
yeah.
So I appreciated hearing Nick air out his ideas in his own way. And I thought that Tucker asked really smart, fair questions.
I thought Tucker did a really good job asking questions, and I also feel like though he had a few moments of being, in my opinion, as Delulu as Nick Fuentes was about a few things, he also had a few moments of like offering what I felt was like reasonable wisdom
Yeah.
to Nick Fuentes. But if you actually want to know what Nick Fuentes thinks, I feel like the better interview was the one he did with Dave Smith last month. That
Okay.
one like really was more of like an exploration of like the parameters of his ideas and how they meet up with Dave Smith's and whatever it is. But there was a couple of sections towards the end of the interview that were just like, I don't know, I'm always sort of on the lookout for material that lives up to like Jeff was the first one to really point. I mean, it's not that I couldn't see it before, but I hadn't thought about it in these terms. But when Jeff talks about Handmaid's Tale or the Christian Reich, right? I'm always listening for like material that is evidence that really that's being steered hard, right? And portions of this conversation felt like they matched up to that like 10 out of 10, right? And so that was the part that I sort of was keyed in on when I texted you. So I do have a fairly lengthy section on that. You have clips from the interview too. So what if you have clips that come from before my start point, let's play yours first. So let me tell you, my start point is 153:39.
Yeah. So I actually, all of my clips are before then.
Perfect.
And I'm sure yours are going to cover the parts around which my ideas are unorthodox.
Okay.
But for like high level, I don't I don't get offended at people having outlandish beliefs or not believing what I believe. I
Sure,
like it
me
when
either.
people show
Yeah.
me the logic of like,
Yes.
I think this because of this. And I thought Nick did a really good job of like, I really don't agree with a lot of what he says,
Sure.
but he has a very clear logic that lines up with his values
I agree with that.
that seemed like totally fair game. Like, this is a reasonable, well spoken, thoughtful young man who has ideas and values that are not my own, but think he's allowed to think these things.
I agree with you 100%. I am not, I love having a good logical conversation with someone that I disagree with.
Yeah.
And just because I think that person has the right to think that, or has the right to believe it, or the right to do those things, also doesn't make me necessarily love it when that is like becoming a hot thing amongst lots of people because I don't want to live that way, right? But yes, I completely like. I used to like, and I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've ever really talked about it with you. But back in like 2013, 2014, when the original like round of the alt-right stuff was going on, before they like did the psyop where they tried to convince everybody that like the alt-right was like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, like the alt-right, like Jared Taylor, like Nathan Damigo, Richard
Stephen
Spencer,
Molyneux.
that he was even like the halfway between the two, I would say,
Okay.
with like Molyneux, right? I got into listening to it only because it like I used to listen to Red Ice Radio with Henrik Palmgren, and he used to be like one of the best conspiracy podcasters, and then he had this, turn towards all only caring about this sort of, you know, alt right like protecting white people issues or what. I don't even know how to say it, right? Right. And so like I was like, well, this is odd, but I'm gonna listen and try and understand like what these people are saying. And I, well, like the reality that they were wishing for or hoping for, it wasn't one that I wanted to live in. I felt like some of their issues about things that had been happening in reality leading up to that point were fair assessments of it. And I also felt some degree of like, I can understand why, mostly around the idea, like, if it's good for one group of people, why can't it be good for all? If the other groups can do this and create their special segments and sections and, whatever it is, like, sure, you should be like allowed to too. But I felt like there was like good logic trains and compelling arguments being made, not to me to want to join them or that we should all have to live that way, but for why people who want to do that should be allowed to do that as long as they're going to let you, right, kind of thing, right? So
and also I just want to say, like, that's true diversity and inclusivity.
Correct.
Like, those
Correct.
buzzwords have been co-opted by the Marxists, but I think that's the reality of it.
Diversity of thought is the only diversity that like really matters when it comes right down to it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've never been a nationalist, but the way that he explained it, I'm like, I understand why he thinks this way.
Sure, I agree.
He is allowed to think this way.
Yeah, not only is he allowed, I think there need to be people that think that way. Like, I don't think it's good for a society to have a monolithic, like a monoculture, a monothought type of thing.
Agreed.
Right? Like, I just, I just maybe don't necessarily want that to be like too close to power, right? Because I have a way that I want to live. But like for me, the way to like, I'm okay with whatever anyone wants to do as long as they don't tell me what to do.
Exactly.
That's like, for me, that was just which is why for me, I prefer no government to a government that agrees with me, right? Because a government that agrees with me is eventually going to try and enforce what we believe on everybody else. Right. And no government, in this sort of more voluntarious reality, I understand it's utopian and not going to happen in the way that like I would prefer to see it happen. But I don't really care what my neighbor does as long as they're not bothering me. I don't care what the person down the street does or around the corner. I just don't care. Right?
What do you think about the surveillance state? Like, what if your neighbor has their cameras pointed at your driveway, at your front door, at your backyard? How do you feel about that?
So it's funny, Laura and I were talking about this the other day because of this weird thing with like the Ring cameras and Amazon that's going on right now. I'm talking about the facial recognition. So the Ring doorbell cameras are like, it's an Amazon Web Service product, and they have like a new facial recognition software that's now going to go to Amazon, right? And so like, it's gonna, like, if you're just walking by on the street behind, if you're close enough, right? I don't like that. So my feeling about the surveillance cameras, like, in terms of your neighbors and whatever, like, you guys need to have a conversation with each other, right? And about like the parts of the property that would be shared or looked at, and I think it's for you guys to decide between yourselves where it's okay to point cameras and where it's not, and you know what it is. Like, for example, the neighbor in Los Angeles, their like the side of their house shows our long driveway, right? And I don't mind that their camera sees it because we're not there a lot of the time, and it's actually a protectorate for us right now. But if I was like doing something in that area that I didn't want, or whatever it is, he would turn it the other way. We've had a conversation about it, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he would do it. He would move it, right? He doesn't, So okay, as far as all these things though, like, I think that like the surveillance cameras on the property, like, could only be looking at your property. And in terms of like, if they, like, a person walking by on the street, so long as they don't step onto your property, if it's getting them, and especially with facial recognition software like that's not okay. Like, people deserve to have, some amount of privacy in their neighborhood, like to walk around and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. Like, I think people should be able to surveil their own property, but that's it. I don't think they should be able to surveil the neighborhood or surveil their neighbor's property or anything like that. But, your own property is your own property. I'm not going to tell you what to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, people can do whatever they want. I'm not a fan of the surveillance cameras. I don't want them at all on any level. And I get really annoyed with people abusing their phone. So I would be furious if my neighbors had cameras pointed at my property, or if I'm walking, if I'm taking my trash cans out. I don't want to have to worry if I'm like camera ready. I don't want any part of that. I don't consent. But it also bothers me people with their phones, because those are recording devices,
Hmm.
right? So, I walk into the sauna,
Right.
naked, and someone's holding their phone up. Maybe they're texting,
Right.
but I don't know them. I'm not
Right.
trusting stranger X. And this is a big problem that we haven't really acknowledged, because I don't feel like as a culture we've acknowledged the problem of
Sure.
these phones and these constant recording devices and surveillance devices. And we're just trusting one another to not be recording.
Right.
And I like, anytime I see one of those phones, I just want to throw it out of people's hands and say, do not point your recording device at me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like they don't do it for this reason, but I could see this being another reason to do it. Like a lot of the parties that I go to in LA, like they want no phones on the dance floor, which I totally appreciate, right?
Yeah.
And the way that they achieve that, obviously they're also asking people to come in Uber so that we're not making a spectacle of all these cars parked outside the party. So if you have to have a phone, so they black sticker your camera when you come in, right? So,
Ew! Wait. We
right,
need to back up.
right.
They take hold of your personal property and then
No,
they modify it?
no, like they basically, this is a no flash photography party, right? Here's a black sticker for your phone. You can leave your phone in the car if you want. You don't have to bring your phone in, right?
Okay.
Puts a black sticker on the on that so you can't record, right? Now
But
in
doesn't that feel infantilizing?
no, it doesn't feel infantilizing to me because I've been to plenty of parties where like everybody has their phones out and there's just these bright lights coming off of it and it's like completely, I don't know, it's just out of the moment,
Oh,
right?
for sure. For
It's just
sure.
out of the moment. And
Agreed.
so I think would also, I mean, I used to never bring my phone to parties at all, right? Because I used to leave it in the car, right? And just reality was different a while ago. But then they announce before you're going. It's not like you get there and they surprise you with this. So if you don't like that, you could leave your phone at home, right? They're not like trying to do anything. They're not taking hold of your phone or anything like
Okay.
that. But I agree with you that like maybe either there needs to be at something like this hot springs or a sauna or whatever it is, right? There either needs to be a no phone policy or something covering the camera policy.
I just want a no phone policy. It's like everyone thinks their dopamine addiction that they rebrand as the importance of their life, that they
Right,
can't go anywhere. You don't
right,
need your fucking phone in the sauna or on the leg press machine
right.
or at a dance party. Like, we need to acknowledge the
I agree with
addiction
you.
and how insane we are with these things.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. I agree with you. Like I would rather, I like the idea of no phone events. I like the idea of events that, don't have like I love going I always enjoy when I end up someplace that there just happens to be no reception, right? Unless I
Yes.
have like some desperate scenario or whatever it is, I just take it as like a chance for a break from it to like not even have to control the dopamine addiction myself, to just let reality do it for me
Yeah.
and give me a break. But yeah, especially in something like a sauna or a hot springs where you're like semi undressed. Like
Yeah.
I think I don't like rules, but like I think if in places like that there could be rules.
I love the no cell phone rule, but
Yeah,
I don't want someone like modify. I don't bring my phone in public anyway, so it wouldn't
right.
even apply to me. But I also don't like the like you have to use Peter Thiel's communist car service to come to this party.
Well, you don't
That
have to.
annoys me
You
too.
don't. You totally don't have to. You totally don't have to. Like sometimes I still drive to parties, right? But sometimes I still do. But in general, like most of the places that the parties are, if there was like 2,000 cars parked outside, then the party's going to get shut down, right? So, and then there's also a lot of people going and taking all kinds of stuff, and so safety, like they're going in an Uber or whatever it is, right? But it's I agree with you. Like, what I would prefer a scenario where, like, I could just say my name when I went to the front, and I didn't have to show a ticket to get into the party,
You print
right?
it out. You just print it out on a printer.
Sure. Or why can't I just say the name and the number?
You can do that too. But like we
right?
need
Yeah,
to denormalize the dependency on these surveillance enslavement devices. Like I will
sure.
not go anywhere that requires a phone. I print out everything. I like they're ruining everything, people. Come
I,
on.
I prefer the printout too. Like when I used to drive myself to the party, I would leave my phone in the car. I'd print out my ticket, right? But if I'm in an Uber and already having my phone and whatever, I just whatever. I don't have a printer at the house in Los Angeles,
Do
right?
you have any misgivings or an ambivalence for being an Uber customer, knowing who created it and how it's destroying society?
I mean, I don't love the whole scenario necessarily. But I also like a lot of these things, you kind of, I mean, even fucking Gmail and Hotmail and all these email addresses that we've had, like I wouldn't sign up for them now, right?
Right.
But I already have like, right? So like I don't sign up for anything anymore. I don't start any new things that I don't already have like a thing with. But like all of the things that I kind of got suckered into in that period of time before I sort of completely understood the what we were living in, like to the extent that they offer me some value or whatever in my life, I use them. But I don't have the app open all the time with the location device on and this, that, all of that kind of stuff. I don't do it. But I also like for myself, and I know I'm different than you in this way. There's some things that I'm just totally not okay with and I just don't do them. And then there's other things that for whatever combination of factors, I've decided that it's more useful to me than it is worth my protest or whatever it is. So I have like a wide spectrum of things and how I feel about this, that, and the other thing. Like I don't have Twitter, right? I don't have any of those things on my phone, Twitter, Facebook, any of that stuff, but like I have Uber. So it fucking sucks. Like I wish that like the old ways of doing things were all still like readily available so
They
that
are. You
right,
have
like
a
so that
car.
I do have a car, but I know that for myself, driving home at 6 o'clock in the morning after a full night of dancing and all that kind of stuff, like isn't always a smart idea for me. And I'm a bad driver under the best of circumstances, right? But for me, like I guess the things that I want to do in certain aspects of safety or convenience, like I don't think it's wonderful, but I make certain choices. And there's others that are just like absolute no's for me, and I'll go the absolute long way around on whatever that is because I don't want to do it. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right. So, Nick Fuentes, this is my first clip. Fair use.
Fight to the left as the true alternative. And if you can win that, then you win the country. That was kind of Trump's model.
What did you see as like the most important gatekeepers that needed to be overturned, pushed aside in order to do this?
It was the Zionist Jews like Dave Rubin, like Ben Shapiro, like Dennis Prager. It was these the guys that were really controlling the media apparatus that seemed to me to be the biggest impediment.
Fox is not a Jewish business, though.
Well, Rupert Murdoch is an ally of Netanyahu, so he's
True.
aligned.
Yeah.
And he owns the whole News Corp empire. So, and yeah, he's certainly a part of it also.
I mean, Dave Rubin, though, does he matter?
No, not really.
Right. I mean, Dave Rubin is like, I don't know. Do people watch Dave Rubin?
They did back then. I mean, because you got to consider they were kind of like the ascendant new media, They represented the next big thing.
I mean, and Ben Shapiro seems irrelevant to me now.
But back then, for
No,
the
I
young,
guess that's
he was huge.
true.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you won.
I just thought that was funny.
Does Dave Rubin even matter? Right? Nope.
Totally. And then he's like, no.
Nope.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry.
All right. So this one is just going to touch on something that I actually spoke with Chris Crutchfield about on the podcast we recorded yesterday. And I would be curious to know what you and our audience thinks about it. So, here we go. Fair use.
In that way, and that's how we're supposed to judge. Like, is that I think that's true.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But I guess the disagreement is you say identity politics like it's a bad thing. I think identity is a reality.
Identity is a reality. Absolutely. You just can't have a country of 350 million this diverse where it's just like warring ethnicities, because then it's Rwanda soon. And
So personally, I think identity is the whole problem. And the fact, I think it's something we need to evolve out of. I think it speaks to a young soul, to a not very conscious person, the fact that we cling to these identities. I think that's like one of the fundamental fragmenting weapons that the social engineers and the predator class are using. But to me, it also speaks to the kind of shared values and lens of perception that both Tucker and Nick seem to be sharing, very blue level spiral dynamics. My religion, my family, these old school structures, which is totally fine and appropriate, but it's also recognizing this is a very unevolved stage of development. It's not something to aspire to or to organize, a country around. It's something to ultimately evolve out of.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's various, like, I think I probably mostly agree with what you said. Like, I don't like, there's this kind of like clinging to identity that feels like what they're talking about, and then there's this like, I've never been to Europe, and like when I go to Europe, like I want to see, I want to be able to distinguish between like Sweden and Denmark and England and Germany, right? I don't want all the places to all be the same. So I love the idea of being able to like maintain like the character, right? And like understand that stuff without this thing that like, oh, maintaining this is the most important thing in the world. Right.
Well, and to me, and maybe this is just a more spiritual perspective, identity to me means grasping, means clinging, means blinding, right? Like you and I very often self-identify as Jewish, but
Right.
we're not so blinded by that identity that we have to be for everything Jewish, and then there's no critical
No,
thinking.
I'm basically
leads us to
against
an identity.
I'm basically against everything Jewish except for bagels, matzo balls, and arguing.
What about discounts?
Yeah, I care about that less than you do. Or my dad. My dad was a coupon cutter,
Right.
So like I think there's right, the clinging thing, this whole, or like someone, this constant paranoia that someone is trying to take this away from you, kind of thing. But I also I think it's neat, like when you can experience something that is like different than the thing that you knew. So I don't want this like erasure of difference, right? But the clinging to this thing that you're talking about and the way that you're describing identity, I agree with you, is not, I mean, it's not for me for sure. But I just don't, I only think of myself as myself, right? I only think of myself as Emily. And I don't like all the other ways that someone might characterize me, right? Short, white, Jewish, blue eyes, dark hair, whatever it is. Like those feel very small in comparison of like how I think about myself, which never really like has anything to do. I mean, it might have something to do with like something about my physicality, but not any of the identifiers that people say, right? And like, however I see myself that way has nothing to do with what anyone else sees me as or thinks of me as or anything like that. So when I'm not feeling well and I don't feel like myself, that feels horrible to me. But none of that has anything to do with like respecting my ethnicity or anything like that, right? It's ridiculous. Yeah, for me, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think that's basically it. I pulled the Eric Weinstein one, but I don't think it's very interesting.
It's that, but it's what's the only reason it's interesting is I couldn't remember who I meant to go grab it because I thought about bringing that part too. This is the second. Oh, Candace. Candace said in one of her things this week that at one point she felt like I should go find it. That she felt like they pushed Eric Weinstein on her as a handler. Like all of a sudden Eric Weinstein was she was talking about how like at a certain point in like 2018 she said something that the media picked up as like her being some kind of Hitler lover, And then before she understood any of this, like Prager came and tried to like help her redo her image based on it. So she took the job at Prager. And when that happened, like all of a sudden, all those intellectual dark web people like Eric Weinstein and whatever were all like inserting themselves into her reality. And she said something about what a horrible person Eric Weinstein was. And then Nick said it too, right? And Candace and Nick do not like each other, right? So it's interesting how, it's finally starting to sort of get more broad spin, the how terrible Eric Weinstein is. Yes.
Do you want me to play it? Because I do have, once we're done with this, I do have an Eric Weinstein clip.
Yeah, you do it. Let me see if I can find that, Candace, while you're talking.
Okay, so I have this queued up. It'll be super quick. Fair use.
Okay.
Oh, I've got spinning beach ball now.
Globalism, I don't think necessarily. His heart is in Israel. And it's because he is a proud Jewish person. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you are a Jewish person in America, you're sort of, and again, it's not because they're born, but it's sort of a rational self-interest politically to say, I'm a minority. I'm a religious ethnic minority. This is not really my home. My ancestral home is in Israel. There's like a natural affinity that Jews have for Israel. And I would say on top of that, for the international Jewish community. They're extremely organized. And many of them are critical of Israel or Israel's current government or the project of Israel. But I guess what they have in common, unlike, let's say, like Singapore, for example, is that they have this international community across borders, extremely organized, that is putting the interests of themselves before the interests of their home country. And there's no other country that has a similar arrangement like that. No other country has a strong identity like that, this religious blood and soil conviction.
I don't know about that. I just want to say, because growing up in Southern California, I knew a lot of Mexican people who would work here to send money back to Mexico. Their allegiance was always to Mexico. It was just a way to like make money. So they were living in the States, but their allegiance was always to Mexico. Do you know what I'm saying? Or so like the Armenians with their like Armenian flags and their like Armenian mafia in Hollywood. Like there are smaller versions of it, not to the extent of Israel.
I would say, because from working in restaurants for so many years, I knew lots of like dishwashers and busboys who were sending money back to Mexico, like you said. The only difference there is like there's a power differential, right? It was like it's a right. So yeah, I mean, I think it's true. There's all kinds of people who are very, very loyal to, if not their home country, because some of them have problems with the government in their home country, but something about their culture. But none of those nations, with the exception of China, which has a completely different flavor than the Israel thing, right? Like they have infiltrated in a very different way. We're dependent on cheap plastic from there, and that's kind of how they've. Yeah. It's like a Walmart infiltration as opposed to like an intelligence operation. Infiltration. But yeah, I think they're for the tiny size that the country Israel is, and most of the people, a lot of the Americans who are loyal to Israel are not born in Israel. A lot of them are not even Jewish, right? Like, or if they are, some of them are Jewish, but like they're Jewish Americans. They didn't come here from Israel and then they're still thinking about back to the homeland. It's this sort of mythologized homeland that has been created in their psyche, that they're like, and what it really is, in my opinion, is this idea of the chosen people. And they like the idea of feeling like there's something special about them. And there's this special land for them to be their special selves in, and whatever it is, right?
I think it's the same as the trans op. I'm just making this connection.
It's exactly
now
the same. Yes.
Of like, the awkward adolescent who can't figure out their way in high school. So I'm going to become trans. And now I have a whole identity and a purpose and a thing. I think it's the same. It's probably the same mind control mechanism. Yeah. They're just plugging in different identity constructs.
Correct. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. So, okay. I think wait. Continue. Yeah. Continue.
Let's just so we could get to the Weinstein part.
Fiction, this history of being in the diaspora, stateless, wandering, persecuted, and in particular, the historic animosity between the Jewish people and the Europeans. They hate the Romans because the Romans destroyed the temple. That's why Eric Weinstein goes to the Arch of Titus and gives it the finger and takes a picture. We don't think like that.
That was it.
Okay. So, all right. I think I found this section here. I'm going to play a little bit of the preamble so that you get the full bit. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Fair use. Here we go.
Avoid. So I don't have anything problem. I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
Now I know that
Hold
these
on.
online campaigns
on.
are inorganic.
Hold on a second. I missed a little part of it there.
Why is her jacket so big?
I noticed that yesterday
She's
too.
like a 2, not
Yeah.
a 12.
Here we go. Right. I know.
Relevant. Take a listen.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. In thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have anything problem. I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
Now I know that these online campaigns are inorganic and that what actually happened was this was a hit. This was a hit. They pulled the clip, and then a bunch of people were articles saying that I supported Adolf Hitler, and that I said if Hitler had just wanted to make Germany great again, then okay, fine. That's fine. No context again. And it was like a severe cancel culture attack saying that I supported Jews being killed in the Holocaust. It was insane. Again, Charlie and I were very new, and this was very scary. We were kind of coming upon a high point and going, why do people want to destroy us? We don't know what this is. And at the same time, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, and this is, again, another interesting piece of this, issued a statement against my comments. The Simon Wiesenthal Center, we're like the official Holocaust people, and this girl is obviously supporting Hitler. It was heavy. It was so heavy. And I laugh in retrospect because I thought it was all real. I didn't realize this was a matrix of people who wanted to pull me and Charlie apart. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to put pressure on him. So donors would pressure him and be like, hey, she's supporting Hitler. It's such a bad look. And then they would find me broken and scared and upset and going, I don't know how Jewish people could think that I would support Hitler. And that's what I was saying. And this amazing thing happened that despite this, that the hand that came out to me and offered me a job was PragerU. PragerU offered me a job. This is early 2019. And it was like, hey, we know that you don't believe these things. And at the time, I thought they were just being friends. I don't know what to think anymore. Marissa Straight, the CEO, has never shied from telling people that she is, in the IDF. She worked intelligence in the IDF, right, in Israel. And I took the job with them, and Charlie and I still climbed together, but we were also working apart at the same time. We kept doing the campuses and the campus tours, but I was officially working for PragerU. And one of the first things that happened, almost the way it feels to me, was like, we can save you, but here's what you have to do, was Marissa took me to the Simon Wiesenthal Center. And again, I was so grateful. I was like, who do I have to say sorry to so that they know that I don't hate Jews? This is what happened. I'm telling you, this is what happened in 2019. And there was like some chief rabbi looking character, and him and her spoke in Hebrew. I didn't understand a word of what was said in front of me. And then we left and everything was fine. My reputation was restored temporarily. Throughout that time frame thereafter, I'm doing my show. I think my first episode with
I thought the Eric
PragerU.
Weinstein part was with that. Fuck. I thought that was going to be I'm sorry. I mean, you guys
No
listen.
problem.
No, it isn't
problem.
there. I thought it was there because that was where my mind. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I can't find it. I thought it was there. I'm sorry.
While you're scrolling, no need to apologize. I want to thank Shiloh and Dead Star Cave Girl for your generous super chats.
Yay!
Ladies, rock. Thank you so much.
I can't find it. I can't find it. But she said in one of these, in somewhere in this, where she was basically talking about all the people that started like inserting themselves like to tenderize her about Jew issues or whatever it was, that one of
Jew
them
shoes.
Jew shoes, there you go. Jew shoes. That one of them was Eric Weinstein. So I thought it was you made me think of that. So sorry guys. Sorry that one was a big dud. Apologize.
Ain't no thing. She looked
All
pretty.
right. Okay, she did. Yes, but I agree. She has like her it's like the big blazer with the shoulder pads from like 1989, right?
Totally.
Okay.
Less than zero.
Right. Yes, totally. Right. Jamie Gershon. Is that who was
Jamie
in?
Gertz, who is
Jamie
the
Gertz.
richest
Yeah.
actress.
Gina Gershon. Jamie Gertz. Yeah.
Jamie Gertz is the richest actress in the world because bitch is a Jew and knows how to invest.
Interesting. That I would never have guessed that. But
She's a billionaire.
Okay, here we go with my portion of the Tucker Nick thing. Here we go. All right.
You know, the huge decline in like actual sex and relationships and marriage, screwed up dating. All of this derives in part from porn, do you think?
I think it's a huge part of it. It's a huge factor. And it's even on the other side too. It's become so destigmatized for women to actually participate in porn. People don't even recognize that OnlyFans is a whole separate category. It's an innovation in the realm of pornography because you have what everyone knows as porn, which is like videos of porn stars, like dedicated career sex workers having sex in a relatively controlled environment or something like that. But then you get
I'm playing this for a reason. Like a lot of this is a mixture of I agree and I don't agree and whatever it is. But I do think it's funny. Like he had this very long conversation about like sex and drugs and all of this stuff with someone who's never had sex or done drugs. Right. And so I think it just is hilarious to me.
Wait, is he a virgin?
I think he's Catholic and he's not married and he's very Catholic. So either he's not that Catholic or he's a virgin.
So what I got from this, and I know we're going to deconstruct it, but this section, I'm like, oh, he's gay, but he can't deal. But all right.
Which is funny because that was one of the things Tucker said about him when he was ranting about him a few months ago. And then, right. Okay.
OnlyFans, which is like Patreon for nudes or sex. And basically, there's now a very large subculture, much larger than people want to admit, of women who the moment they turn 18, that is what they do, is they make an OnlyFans account and they become an amateur porn star. And it is completely casual, you know, because you could say that maybe 10 years ago, even at the heyday of internet porn, to be in porn, you got to be a porn star. Like that's your life and that's your career and that's who you are. And it's very shameful. With OnlyFans, it's like having a TikTok. It's like, here's my link tree. Here's my Instagram account. Here's my Facebook account. Here's my YouTube. And here's my OnlyFans.
Why would any of this be legal?
I think that, there's, like you indicated, maybe there's an intelligence benefit to that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a political benefit to that. I think that.
Well, why wouldn't you arrest the people who run something like that?
They should be. If you had a Christian government.
Or how about just a government that cares about its people? I mean, is Iran a bigger threat or is OnlyFans? Iran's not turning my daughters to prostitution that I'm aware of.
Right.
Right? I mean, that seems like one of the worst things that could happen to any society.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so there's a lot there. Personally, things like porn and OnlyFans and whatever doesn't appeal to me. Like, it's not like I'm not into it. But I also don't like the idea that like now they're like, oh, well, we should arrest the people. We should go arrest those people. I want to live in a free society. And in a free society, unfortunately, that means that stuff is going to exist. And just the way that line slipped in there about, oh, if we had a Christian government, right? Like, you know me, I'm not for any governments at all. But one of the few benefits of the one we have is that there's supposed to be a separation between church and state.
Right.
And I don't want to live in the reality of a Christian government. End of story. And so that was why I texted you. I was like, here comes the Christian Reich kind of thing. Right now, do I agree that like, as far as like degrading society, OnlyFans is probably worse for society than Iran is or something like for our society? Yes, probably. Like right it's probably degrading our culture, fentanyl and porn and video games and all of that kind of stuff. But and even though I don't want to do those things, like if I want to be able to do the things I want to do, you have to let everybody else do the things that they want to do too, as long as they're not doing them to you, right?
Agreed, but this is clearly a problem reaction solution setup because
right.
like they're not talking about ideological subversion or the larger demoralization
right.
campaign. And there are ways to mitigate this without making it illegal. Like we've talked about the fakeness of just say no and that whole thing, but there could easily be like a push to encourage women to have respect for their bodies. There could be some sort of like PSA campaign, but they're not acknowledging a middle ground. It's like, well, we have to make it illegal.
100%. And then there's also like no conversation about the fact that like, sure, like there's a lot of people that simply do that because they're unable to make a living that can provide for themselves other ways in the economy that we have, right? And if there was, it's kind of, you and I both know highly intelligent people who like did all the right things and whatever it is, and they can't fucking find a good paying job to do anything, right? So I'm not excusing whatever, I'm not making excuses for why people make the decisions they do. Some people like the attention of that, and that's why they choose it. I'm sure some people just like it, but other people are like, I have 2 kids and I can make 3 times as much money in 2 hours here as I could make working 60 hours a week at CBS or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Sure, but that isn't what they're talking. Like they are talking about girls who the second they turn 18 who are doing it, which is like, I think that's a problem. Yes, there are problems.
But I think it's a problem, like that's a family values problem.
Correct.
It's not I don't think
that's an ethical sluthood. Third wave feminism did a number on women, making them think. I talk about this all the time, that their only value is their tits and ass. And unfortunately, these 18-year-olds have internalized this and now they're capitalizing on it. It's very different from like a mother of 2 who can't get a job as a dental hygienist and is like, well, I need to make the rent, so I'll OnlyFans it. Very different.
Right. Both things are part of that infrastructure, though, that they're talking about making illegal, right? Or whatever it is. And so they get
the thing that I do think is different is the shame. Because do you remember the movie? It was like a Robert Altman where Jennifer Jason Leigh played a phone sex worker. And so the women who did that to support themselves, there was a certain degree of shame. These young people
they don't have it.
No shame.
Right. Right. Yeah. At that point, I think there's some fair points that are made here, but they're going to go into a conversation about feminism from here. That is different than what you're talking about with the third wave feminism. Like, I agree. I don't like, I struggle. Like, I'm not as offended by because I just like whatever. People can do whatever they want. I know you get very offended by the thing with women's tits and ass and whatever it is, but I don't that's never been a way that I've felt powerful. Like, I've always felt like, the way that I am powerful is by my mind or achievements that I make or creativity that I have, right? And I don't understand why some people are like, I'm an empowered woman. I want to be half naked. But if they want to,
they're not empowered.
Right. But if they want to, okay.
Their indoctrination.
Correct. Yeah. If they want to, okay. Like, I'm not going to be mad at them for doing that. I just think it's weird.
But here's my thing. If you're going to do that, then don't berate men for being the problem. That's my only thing. It's
I agree with that.
If you want to walk around dressed like a streetwalker, fine. Right. But don't complain about how men treat women ever. Ever.
Right. I mean, I guess I think people all need to learn how to control themselves, right? So I think just because a man sees a naked woman doesn't mean that they should be able to put their hands on naked
they shouldn't
women.
Put their hands on them, but it's rude of the women to sexually signal like that. Like, I had friends when I lived in LA, like big time Hollywood producers, and because I have like whatever in my field that people tell me things they don't tell people. And I had men tell me, like, Dani, it's so hard when I go to these meetings and these starlets show up virtually naked and I'm supposed to focus on business at hand. Like, it's just not respectful.
Well, I would definitely agree with you about professional attire. If we're right, but I can get down right. Like, I don't know that you can control what women wear to the club, and then if women want to wear that to the club, it doesn't give men permission to be handsy or whatever. But in a professional work setting, I think you should be expected to dress professionally.
It does. It never gives men permission,
Right.
but we are biological creatures and there is sexual signaling.
Sure.
So when a peacock fans out his tail, he's saying,
Yeah.
I want to fuck. So
Right.
when a chick shows up at a club with side titty, that is what she is saying. She needs to take responsibility. It does not give men the excuse, but you're degrading
Yeah, I agree with that.
society.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So continuing on to the next part here. All right.
So how big is the support for that? Like if a candidate were to come out and say, we ought to arrest the guys who own MindGeek, which is the biggest, I think it's the biggest porn supplier in the world, or the guys who run OnlyFans, what would the reaction be among, I don't know, people under 50?
I think there would be broad support for that.
Really?
I do, actually, yes.
I hope someone will say that. And
Someone needs to.
I hope someone arrests them, like right away.
Yeah. That was actually one
Seizes
of
their assets and puts them in prison.
seizes
That's crazy.
their
Right. I mean, like
That's
just
crazy.
one of the most batshit things. I mean, like, again, I'm not for any of that stuff, but like this is what this has always been the most concerning part of like the certain parts of the Trump or the right-wing faction or whatever it is they want to go this extra mile.
This is what, and I didn't bring the clip, but they talk about this at the beginning of this interview, which was that all of this like leftist reaction and name calling people racist and anti-Semites who are not, is creating racists and anti-Semites. So I used to see this when the left would freak out about the right taking away abortion. And it's like, that's not going to happen, but your hysteria around this is going to bring this into being. So I feel the same about
yes,
this
I see.
Handmaid's Tale. It's everyone's fear of it is
Right.
creating it. That is what's creating it. No, it's not coming organically from the right. I don't believe that.
I don't know. I agree with you. Like I think when people are like, oh, there's going to be civil war and all of that kind of stuff, right? But like a lot of people think of the right, like the sort of the old right wing would be just like smaller government, less government, right? That's not what this is. This is like a more authoritarian government. We're going to arrest OnlyFans and MindGeek, and we're going to have a Christian government and whatever it is. Like, right? I don't know. I think
I don't think they would be saying these things.
it's like a
here
response
now.
to the excesses of the other side.
That's
Sure.
what I'm saying. And also,
Yes.
like, the fear of the power play. Like, when I was in high school, this girl, Jessica, came up to me crying, and she's like, why are you saying all these terrible things about me? You're ruining my life. I wasn't saying anything terrible about her. I had no idea what she was talking about. But I saw her giving her power away to me,
Right.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, then I will take that power that you're handing me,
Right.
even though it's not based on anything.
Right.
I'm not saying that's a good part of human nature, but I think that's what's going on with a lot of these things.
I think each the excesses of one side give way to the excesses of the other side, and I agree with you that dynamic. The only thing that's going to stop it is like one side choosing that they're not going to do that in response to the other side, and that sort of break out of that pattern. But I also feel like people who agree with some group of people on like A and B, right, need to be careful not to give their thoughts away on C and D, because some people have a different idea about C and D than you do. And I agree, like for the most part, we have a bunch of crazy shit that's happened in this country, but we also still do seem to have some remnants of of a constitution and courts that like oftentimes too late for the person who like suffered the loss when the thing happened or whatever it is, but ultimately say, no, you can't do that. And that hopefully would stop any of this kind of stuff. But I think some people get so focused on like the one or two issue that they're in agreement with the powerful faction on that they overlook the other issues within that faction. And I think sometimes this stuff gets overlooked.
Maybe. I've never seen The Handmaid's Tale, but I've heard people on the left complaining about it and fear-mongering about it and disaster baiting about it long enough that I knew you guys will create this. No question in my mind. I don't even know what you're talking about. All this hysteria around it, I guarantee you will create it.
So I've never seen the movie, but I've read the book. I read it in high school. Right? Like I read it when I was going to Cleveland Magnet and like had like a term paper kind of thing on it. And so I think a lot of the things that people put the title of Handmaid's Tale on are a little hysterical and hyperbolic.
Yep.
But I think when it's getting down to something like this, which is a Christian government and arresting, if they're the idea, like these ideas, this is closer to it. Right? Like it isn't.
Oh, but I'm saying the fear of that created the interview that we're watching now in these times.
That's entirely possible. Yes, that's entirely possible.
Saying.
Yes. Okay. All right. Continuing.
Their bodies. It puts them in jail. Yeah. I mean,
the owners of that, people who are, talk about human trafficking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought we were against human trafficking.
Yeah.
Well, so
why would you
think that young people, because you always think of
our country runs on it.
Right.
And
young
he knows
people is
that.
so liberal, but
right.
But like, no, they wouldn't think that was crazy?
No, I think especially among young men, they know it's a problem. It's ruining their lives. And they know it.
So what are the other factors that prevent, I'm sorry I called you gay, by the way, but I'm always shy.
After Dani just confirmed that what he said was evidence that he was gay.
I'm just too old or something. I'm like,
a little, yeah.
His ideas about women, to me, feel very gay.
Well, what he's about, it's funny, the segment we're about to go into, he completely doesn't understand women at all. If those
Not
are
at
the
all.
thoughts. Yeah, so here we go.
Like, why is anyone married? You tell me, why aren't people married?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's the women. The women are extremely liberal. No one talks about that. They're increasingly they do, especially after the last election. There's a 45-point difference between men and women. The men are extremely conservative, increasingly. The women are extremely liberal.
What are they liberal on? What issues? Like, what does that mean, liberal?
Wasn't there like a trad wife movement a couple of years ago?
Again, this goes back to bubbles, because in my bubble and what I see,
it's the opposite.
There are all these weird trad wives that I don't personally relate to, but I see that more in my community and circles than what he's talking about.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, they're very feminist.
Like, actually?
Extremely feminist, yes.
They don't believe that, do they?
I think they do.
Really?
Absolutely,
How could
yes.
you believe that? I think gender roles are a construct, that none of this is inborn? Like, you'd have to be an idiot to think that.
They like the idea of it. They like because of course, I think all women naturally want strong men.
Of course, obviously.
They naturally want a Chad. They want like a tall, buff guy. But I think they like the idea of none of them want to work either. None of them actually want to work.
No, that's what I'm saying. Of course. That's right. It's obviously true. It's always been true. Work outside the home.
Right.
They don't have enough work at home. There's a lot to do. But no, I completely agree. So that's why I question like their feminists in what sense?
Yes. And, they like these vague appeals to equality. We want a chance to work and we want respect. And, ultimately, I think the whole political system is just based around women never being accountable for any of their choices. Ultimately, that seems to be that's what abortion is.
Yeah, of course.
Because 99% of abortions are elective. So they say it's an unplanned pregnancy. You had sex out of wedlock with someone you didn't intend to have kids with. So now we have to kill the kids in the womb. And, these no-fault divorce laws. These women get married to guys maybe they never intend to stay with. And then when they're out, they're done. And they want child support and they want half the stuff. And I think a lot of men are looking at women and they're very liberal. They're overweight. They have a very high estimation of themselves. I think that people call it hoflation.
Hoflation?
Yes, their sense of their own looks and sexual value is very inflated. And so a lot of people are looking at these like frumpy, obnoxious, loudmouth, liberal women who are also very promiscuous and saying this is not actually appealing at all. And I don't want to start a family with a person
Sounds
like
awful.
this. Yeah, it is.
But if you believe in the patriarchy, as I fervently do, because it's just reality, we didn't choose the system. We were born into a system that is part of nature, can't get out of it. So if you believe that that's true, which it is, then you think that men should lead. And if it's going to be better, men should make it better because that's their job.
Right.
So you don't want to give them a pass, do you? It'd be like it's all the girls suck. So
I don't even blame it on the women because I think that it's the incentive structures. Women are allowed to do this by the legal system, by kind of social norms. Technology is a big part of it. The attention that is available to women. Women go on Instagram and they get attention from thousands of men. So it's the incentives. But I would say that, because I hear this all the time, people say, well, the men need to step up and be better and lead the women. Easier said than done.
I agree with that.
They're at war with the system, and not even just the system, but also society. Because let's say you find one of these so-called good girls who's Christian and traditional, but
yes, because all good girls are Christian and traditional
through osmosis.
Notice, and I don't even get hung up on this. It's not good women, but it's good girls.
Good girls. I mean, in just a minute, we can go through all the things that were just semi-regional in that section, but I'm just letting it play through here and then we'll get there.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, she's going to be in society. She's going to be on TikTok. She's going to be on Instagram. She's going to be talking to other women. And maybe she's one way when you meet and get married, but 10 years down the road, 15 years, 20 years down the road, people change. And I think that women, as kind of the ultimate conformists, the ultimate enforcers of like social norms, I think eventually the pressure from society kind of gets to them. And a lot of them will go in
Depends what kind of husbands they have. I mean, if there's real leadership at home, I don't know a single happily married woman who's liberal. Not one. I know a lot of married women. I mean, I'm 56. All the women I know are married.
Mm-hmm.
They just broke my stream for policy violations. Are you still streaming?
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean they just broke your stream?
Right now, my screen says stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations. The chat's saying so too. We just got pulled.
Okay. What did we say? Mine's still going. That's so weird.
Are you sure? Look at your screen.
I mean, my screen looks like it's going.
I mean, we've got the chat, but they suspended the video.
That's so weird. I wonder what we said. We're just playing other videos that have been...
We fair used it.
We fair used everything. What? Okay, well, damn. All right, well, I guess show's over.
I don't even know what to... I wonder if we're allowed to play... I mean, it looks like they're not even playing us.
Right, because it's over. The show's over. It's just the what the fuck? Oops. I guess that's all.
That's
right, so I guess we can stop and come back.
Do you want to try it?
I mean, I don't. What can you even imagine anything we said?
No, not at all. I mean, do you see it on yours?
No.
Are you getting the... Okay, so let me show you what I'm seeing so you can understand what's happening.
Okay.
You see it?
Yeah, I don't understand what it could possibly be because I'm just playing other videos that are available on YouTube. Did we say something? Now looks like we're back.
Okay. Are we back live? Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, it must have been an accident. It had to have been an accident. Are you guys back? Yay. Okay. I never did it for me. So that's so weird.
That was, I mean, the chat was with me on this. Should we cease to play from that show?
I mean, I don't know, right? Like it's still up. So guys, I have no idea what happened. It never happened to like on. I never saw that, but I don't have our stream playing, right? Like I don't. I just have it paused because otherwise it's too. Yeah, I guess I could go. That's weird. Let me see if I can see what happened here.
What's weird is it said policy violations.
Right. It may have just been like yeah, it looks like stream unavailable, and then it started up again. But I guess they wouldn't have let me start again. It must have been a mistake. Right?
Good, they can compensate us for their mistake.
All right, so we're back. So okay, maybe we just won't. I think people got the gist of what was being said there, so you guys can go watch for yourself. But from what no, there was such a good. There was some. Should we try again?
Try it. Whatever.
Okay, because I wanted it's so interesting to hear some of the things that he says about women and this like the part that we just watched where they were in agreement. I have things to say about. Well, should we say those things now and then move on to the next part? Because then eventually, let's talk about this part here. Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, it seems mostly like Nick Fuentes doesn't like women. Like he's had bad experiences with women or no experiences with women. And he doesn't actually like, he's living in this sort of delusional fantasy of the 1950s and that he would like, right, kind of thing that he would.
He sounds like an incel.
Right.
And
right.
he seems like he fits it to a T.
Well, it makes me think of Don't Worry, Darling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. And so, like, you know, I completely understand that there are even people like even peers of ours and people that we know and friends with who are choosing to live in a traditional marriage situation where like the man is the sort of leader and the authority in the house and the woman is the caretaker, and that is by choice, and I have 100% respect for that. Like that's what people want to do.
For sure.
That they should definitely be able to do that. And also, I think for some people that's probably a good choice for them. Just like some people like to live off grid and some people like to live in the city, and right, and some people are religious and some people aren't religious, and some people are vegetarians and some people are carnivores, and whatever it is, right? But just this idea, this overall idea that he has at 27 years old, I think he is 29, that he has figured out what the problem with society is, and the problem is the liberal women.
Well, and also that he says, I mean, he's clearly so young, and this speaks to everyone is speaking through their own blind spots, their own trauma, their own nonsense. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the younger people are leaning into this, but there are these gross generalizations that are completely like reductive and insane. And to me, this was like, as I said, this was my first real exposure to him. So the whole time I'm like, this guy seems smart. I don't agree with his perspectives, but he explains them well.
I agree with
this
you.
Part of the interview, I'm like, he's gay, and that's a problem for his religion, and he has no idea how to deal with it, so he hates women. I've seen this so many, like, I used to be Queen Fag Hag in LA. I had so many gay friends who hated women. He just sounds exactly like one of those guys.
Right. 100%. It's either that, either he's gay and he can't deal with it, or he's just an incel. It just does, like, he hasn't figured.
Are incels gay?
Not all of them. I think some of them just like are not appealing to women. Okay. Right. I agree with you. He leans more into the other area for me. But like the incel in Don't Worry, Darling was just didn't know how to deal with women.
Right.
And so he like wanted to trap his woman in this crazy 1950s, fantasy.
Correct.
Right. But yeah. So, but just the other thing, and Tucker does this sometimes, just like when he's decided he's right about something, he doesn't ever say like, this is what I think. He just says that it's the truth. Like this is
correct.
Right. Like we all sort of live in the same. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there was also the signaling where Tucker was complaining about being accused of being an anti-Semite, and he's like, I'm not a racist. I'm a little bit sexist. So it felt like this part was kind of staged.
Right.
Like they kind of colluded on this part.
Right.
Is what it felt like to me.
I mean, I don't know if they had to collude necessarily, if this is just where they naturally go, so it works. Like this was a place they were always going to have resonance.
This felt even for Tucker, I think he would be a little bit more nuanced about the variety of women on the planet and the
Sure.
variety of coupling
Well,
options. This felt like a conversation two 20-year-old gay incels would have amongst themselves.
Right, right. I agree with you on that. And he also, like, I've heard Tucker go on and on about how smart this woman is or that woman is and how good this woman is or that. So I don't like, I think it's one of these, he leaned into this a little bit when he interviewed Matt Walsh too, remember? He kind of leaned into some of these ideas. But then when he's talking to, you know, any one of a number of women he interviews on his podcast, that you don't see any of that. Now,
Well,
what,
he was even like talking up Marjorie Taylor Greene in this very
correct.
interview. So he's
And when,
contradicting himself.
well, I mean, maybe you know you can go okay. Maybe one is like his idea of like professionalism, professional respect, and the other is like what he believes to be true about the home life or whatever it is. But it did feel a little sort of sloppy, just the way he did it. So
Yeah.
okay, here we go.
And every happily married woman is non-liberal.
Mhm.
I can't even imagine. There's no category
I mean, just
for
that right
happily
there is
married
insane.
middle-aged.
It's
women.
insane.
insane.
It's insane.
That's just a really stupid fucking thing to say.
I mean, like I know all kinds of unhappily married people, happily married people, everything in between, and I would say that like I don't notice any tendency one way or the other based
I
on
don't either. I know
that.
plenty of happily married liberal people.
Totally, right? Like some of the happiest married people, like married from 20s till dead, liberal people, right? Yeah, so that's a nonsense thing to say. Okay, continuing.
For a woman. There hasn't never been one.
Right.
So like maybe the job is to, make a girl happy and like all this nonsense ends.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be a bottomless pit too, because the one critique I have of the men is, and you're right about this, they enable this behavior.
Well, that's for sure.
This epidemic of simps who, and especially with Christians, I've noticed this. This is why Andrew Tate has so much appeal, and the Christians are kind of losing this conversation. Andrew Tate's a Muslim polygamist who is very chauvinistic, and you could even argue it as someone who has ran an OnlyFans site himself, like is not an observer, let's say, of Christian sexual morality.
No.
But men are going with him because he's putting women in their place. He's talking about patriarchy and women's place in a society like that. Whereas Christian men,
Pause.
Catholics, Protestants, a lot.
This is a leftist psyop right now. Like the left is behind this interview to make the right look so fucking insane that you have no choice but to revile and reject them.
So you're saying the booking agent who made this happen was definitely a Maoist,
Yes. Because this is crazy.
right? Like, okay.
Like are both kind of tone policing the men.
Oh, we
And
lost
they,
it again.
they worship their wives.
And we got
they
kicked
worship.
off. It's this show.
Okay, well, so like let's stop it and see if we come back. Right? Maybe this is the whole thing is like that they're just going to give us a timeout until we stop doing it.
Wow, it's crazy. So we're stopped on my end again, but I mean, there's no point in me saying anything. It's not like anyone can hear us.
Okay, let's see. No, stream policy violations. Like I don't understand. Oh, you know what? I bet it is. Well, this is weird because how could I
Are you playing it too long?
I mean, maybe is there a new policy thing? Maybe the YouTube owners like this is crazy because the thing that I'm playing is up on YouTube, so it can't be a content. It can't be about.
But remember when I got a strike for playing the clip of the Brett Weinstein show that you didn't get a strike for and Brett didn't get a strike for? This feels
so
targeted.
weird. Okay, so let's just wait a minute and see if it comes back, and then we'll not play any more of it. It's so crazy.
So crazy. Of all the stuff you and I have played throughout the years, that this is the one that shows me that we're over the target and that we're right.
All right, let's see if they bring it back. How was that? What was it down for like 2 minutes? Again, let's see.
I notice it within a couple seconds because I keep it open.
Okay, hopefully we'll be back. Hang tight, folks. I'm just gonna search real fast Stream suspension,
Policy violation.
policy violation
We said fair use.
for playing Tucker Nick interview. Let's just see if
Everyone's saying it's Nick.
well, he's just now being allowed. It recently been, you can people can a stream suspension.
Oh, we're back.
We're back. Okay.
I think
All
we
right.
need to stop playing this
Yes.
show.
Okay, guys. Sorry, we're not gonna play this. We're not gonna play anymore. Any more Nick Fuentes.
But I do think Jonna hit the nail on the head, and we'll see if this is what gets us kicked off. I think we're looking at a micro penis situation. I really do.
Oh God! All right, I think I may just I don't even know. Should I just pull the stream when we're done so I don't get all kinds of nonsense? I don't know what to do. Right? I don't want to get.
But they're letting us back on. So if they
I
had
guess.
a real issue, we would have been thrown off.
But it would be great if they would also send me a little note explaining, right, saying what it was.
Why
Here's-
you're a bad girl.
Okay, a stream suspension for a policy violation can result from actions on live streaming platforms like YouTube that breach community guidelines, hate speech, nudity, copyright infringement, dangerous acts. The consequences escalate with repeated offenses, potentially leading to temporary or indefinite suspensions, loss of stream, and even channel termination.
There was no hate speech. We said fair use.
Right. I'm just going to see if they've emailed me during any of this.
Okay.
Right. Let me just find, where is this one? Let me just see if they've emailed me and said anything about any of it. YouTube. Yes, my stream was interrupted. Okay. Due to a copyright match, your stream was interrupted.
What's a copyright matched?
Okay, so
match?
okay. After copyright material is no longer being streamed. Okay, so it is that interview. So now Tucker is.
We've played a lot of Tucker interviews. We've
Right.
never had an issue.
Yeah. So interesting. Okay, so it's just copyright stuff. This isn't going to be any. This isn't speech. This isn't a speech.
You're not getting a strike.
I'm not getting a strike, which is not going to be monetized. That's
So
fine.
what we were talking about while we lost the stream, you guys, is that there have been times where I've gotten a strike on my channel for videos that are on Emily's channel that Emily doesn't get a strike for. So there's not necessarily a rhyme or reason to policy violations and strikes.
Correct. And now I can't find. I'm looking. I just can't even find the window where you are right now.
Me personally?
Right. Yeah. Hold on. I've just where our regular. Where's
Show
our?
is?
Yeah. Here we go. I think it's there. Okay. Yeah, I got it. All right. Okay. No more playing the clip. So anywho, you guys can go watch for yourself. It then devolves into this. So during that, we've already said our comments about what that was. But the next part, Nick goes on to explain how simple-minded and easy to understand women are and how complex and confusing men are.
Which was just proves that he's gay. That's completely insane.
And Tucker did not agree with him on that. Tucker
Correct.
Tucker at least does seem to understand his own wife, if nothing,
Well,
if not
Tucker's
women
had
in
sex.
general. Correct.
Oh, that's a good show title. Tucker's had sex.
Tucker's
I also
had
have micro penis for the win, which is what I will be pulling.
just call it a micro P for the win, right? But I mean that there was that couple of minutes when Nick started to explain how he understands women, what he thinks about women, what he thinks.
He's
women
never
are
had a female friend in his life.
It was it had to be one of the most delusional things that I had ever heard in my entire life.
It was interesting because I think until this section, he sounded like a smart
correct
person. And then he gets into this section and he sounds like a complete nut job.
Yes, complete nut job and just doesn't get it at all. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, it was almost embarrassing to listen to at points. But was there something you wanted to say about, because you thought we were going to disagree, and then you had something you wanted to say about Beth Martins and Ben Balderson or something like that. Like,
Okay, so I was on Beth Martin's show last week with Benjamin Balderson, and
you guys
Benjamin.
were on together.
Yes, we were both
Okay.
guests together, and the whole thing was about the masculine feminine.
Got it.
And Benjamin said that he thinks that women and girls who get abortions should be publicly shamed in their communities.
Oh, interesting.
Which I like. We all got along, but I was really shocked to hear that. And so,
Right.
so I said, well, what about people who get divorced? Do you think they should be publicly shamed? And that was where we disagreed. And I'm like, but people take these oaths to stay together, but then they're liars whose vows mean nothing, and we just continue to support that and normalize that.
And then what about men who cheat on their wives? Should they be publicly shamed? And
I
right?
didn't
Like,
ask about it, but he was saying, because I'm like, okay, well, let's say that someone has sex and gets knocked up but doesn't know it. And in the interim between getting knocked up and figuring it out, she's dropped acid 3 times. She's drunk, however many bottles of wine. She's eating shitty food. She's smoking. This is who we want procreating in our culture? We did not agree.
right. No, well, I mean, you could just do this all day, though. Like, what about men who cheat on their wives? What about, men who don't pay child support if they leave the, right? We could do this all day long about who should be shamed, who shouldn't be shamed, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I know, like, I wasn't on the show with the liberating dog face dudes when they did Should Women Be Allowed to Vote? I think Hunter was on that show.
Okay.
But Benjamin and I have talked about that. I can't remember if we've talked about it on air or just privately or whatever it is. And my whole thing was like, I don't want to vote. So if all of a sudden I was going to get mad because he said women shouldn't vote, like it's kind of like a weird thing because I don't want to vote anyway, right? So I don't have a lot of opinions about that. It's like caring about something you don't care about. Right? But the way that I have lots of friends who are very religious and who, like, whatever my lifestyle is against what they believe is right, but somehow we're able to be friends. And the ones, I think part of it is most of the religious people that I'm friendly with are like A, honorable people, and B, intelligent. And when I asked one of them like about it, he was like, oh, well, you're not religious. Like I'm religious, so I need to live by these rules, but you're not saying you believe that. You're living according to what you say you believe, and so that's fine with me. And that's kind of how I see it, right?
Yeah.
So Benjamin is living how he believes.
That's fine.
Right. And like he obviously knows that, like, I don't believe the things that he believes, and I think he finds me, at least based on things he's told me and like the sense from our interactions, he finds me intelligent and entertaining and worth having conversations with. So he obviously doesn't believe those things to the point where he's like unwilling to have conversations with women and consider their intellect, right? So like one is a choice for like a way that you want to live, right? Which maybe is different than like this sort of insistence on that for all of reality.
My sense, because early on in the conversation, he called me a masculine woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I run a lot of masculine energy,
Mm-hmm.
but my essence is actually dominant feminine, which I think most people around me know. So I feel like, I'm guessing you and I are probably lumped in the category of like masculine women who are cool to podcast with, but not really like marriage or breeding material. This is where I really part with people in the truther community who've turned towards religion and whatnot. If you have a Y chromosome, I don't care about your opinion on what I should do or any woman should do with their bodies, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about on any level. So you can have an opinion for yourself,
Right.
but to project it onto other women when it's an experience that you literally know nothing about. I also think it speaks to like how cavalier people are about just populate without care for women who are not caring for their bodies, who are not being proper stewards for the growing zygote. And a zygote is not a baby. If you think a zygote is a baby, then just remove it and let it fend for itself. But I'm not interested in these dudes' opinions about what we should do with our bodies because they can't possibly know.
Well, they also like they're not interested in what we obviously they're not interested in what women think men. But I can't say that I've ever spent a minute of my life thinking about what men should do with their bodies.
No.
So it is this interesting, yeah. I mean, I definitely know. I know that like for all of the issues out there, that I agree with a lot of people in our. I think I have more differences with people in our community at this point than you do. But one, yeah, right. Like
Really?
yeah, I don't want to live outside. I like the city. I like the things that I like. Like
You love Uber and enslavement.
I love Uber. I love Uber. No, but like I'm not like I want to enjoy. I don't know if I'm going to have another life. I'm going to do the things that I enjoy, and there's some things I'm unwilling to do. It's instinctual for me. Like when something comes up, like it's yes or it's no, and sometimes something that's a yes later becomes a no, and something that is a no becomes a yes later, or whatever it is, right? But a lot of the reality that a lot of the novelty that's appealing to me, that is what I feel like my purpose is here, is to like, to experience novelty and then to be able to, use those experiences to understand and explain complex topics to myself and to others to help us sort of weave through whatever the fuck this tapestry is not served by like this sort of renunciation of everything kind of idea that goes along with a lot of this sort of truther community or whatever it is, right? Like for me, it has to be interesting or I'm not really doing it, right? But like some of the conversations are interesting even though my opinion is different than yours, and so to that extent, like I'm part of that. But no, I've always been I think it's fine that all those things are happening, and that makes some people's lives happier and more satisfying and whatever it is. But just because you like it, and speaking to anyone about any one of these things I disagree with, like great, you like it, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to stop you, but that doesn't need to be woven in with like what the fuck are the fucktards doing to the reality that we're all sort of a part of.
Well,
right?
for me, it's what frustrates me about what's happened to the quote unquote truther community that I don't consider myself a part of and I pretty much reject is this group thing. So now everyone has to be married and Christian and power breeders and live off grid and wear your, bioenergetic pendant and your grounding shoes. And it's all groupthink. And to me, that's not what being a wackadoodle conspiracy theorist has ever been about. But
I want as many wild, wacky weirdos of different flavors as possible. I don't want there to be like cliques and factions and whatever that are based around some of these weird combinations of tenets.
Totally agree. Totally agree. But what I've noticed are the men who are so vocal about being anti-choice and wanting to tell women what to do with their bodies is it's just have babies, have babies, have babies. But there's no thought about, well, what are those 9 months like for the woman who doesn't want this thing in her belly? And how is that treatment of the thing in her belly going to affect the psyche
of the child
thing in her belly?
Right.
And then what about the responsibility of caring for the thing once it's out of the belly that no one wanted in the first place? But again, there's no nuance to that conversation. And it annoys me.
You can tell, but you can obviously also tell like men like Tucker and Nick just believe that if some woman is blessed with their child, that's just going to make them happy. And like this is such simple, such stupid thinking. And, I just, for myself, like I knew from the time I was like very, very little that I was never going to have a child. I did not want to. It was never like I love children. Like I love my niece. I love my nephew. I used to babysit kids and teach gymnastics and stuff like that. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm here to do whatever the weird thing is that my brain does to the best of my ability and to enjoy doing it. And then I'm going to go somewhere else and that'll be all.
Agreed. And that's what it's like there's no nuance in these pendulum swings, and watching the pendulum swings, like in the same way we thought we were reinventing the wheel. I'm speaking for me, not you, when we were like taking psychedelics and going to Burning Man and like whatever. I feel like the trad people think they're doing the same thing, and it's like
the trad thing is the new Burning Man. I never went to Burning Man for the same fucking reason that I don't do this, and it's not because there aren't things I'm sure I would love some of the music and art at Burning Man, and I'm sure that there's probably plenty of things that Benjamin and I agree on, or some of these people and I agree on, but like whatever the entirety of that thing is a no for me.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
Okay,
we agree.
Yay! Let's go to the chat room because we spent a lot of time onning and offing.
Oh, can I do my quick Eric, because it's so quick and it's really worth it?
Yes.
It's like I started watching this just before you and I recorded, and I'm like, it's a long shot, and then I'm like, gold, gold, gold. He's saying stupid shit.
And this will please every show must have a Weinstein segment person.
Totally. So here we go. Okay. Fair use YouTube fucktards.
It's funny.
Pause. It'll be fascinating. It'll be so interesting if that happens again. I think this is just special for that interview for some reason. So weird. Yeah. Go ahead.
See. Okay, here we go.
So look, just coming back to what you said about this show and who we platform and stuff. You know, I have people who react to me platforming you, right? Who say you're a dangerous extremist and so on. You've heard that yourself many times, I'm sure. I don't view you as either.
No, I haven't heard. I haven't heard that I'm a dangerous.
I don't think that about you for a moment. But I'm curious who you think we've platformed who would fit that category that you're discussing, and whether you think.
But you just repeated something which I don't.
Well, I'm just talking about random. I'm talking about random people on social media. I'm not talking about a mainstream voice. I'm talking about random people commenting when we do stuff. There's always a few that pop up who think you're a lunatic, right? As there are with everyone I talk to. I can interview Mother Teresa, and there'd be people calling her a dangerous lunatic.
Pierce, for God's sake, man, I'm a Harvard PhD with an MIT postdoc. I've been funded by Soros and Thiel. Nobody really thinks that I'm stupid. Nobody thinks that I'm a dangerous lunatic. Nobody really thinks that I'm far left or far right. There's a bunch of morons on the internet. And if you want to decide that I have a voice, then I'm sure that some of them think I'm a robot, some of them think I'm a hologram, and some of them think that I'm a space alien.
No, just to pop his
ass. If you decide that you're going to open the discussion to those voices, I'll go get a sandwich. You're not a dangerous lunatic. The point I'm making.
His credentials are Harvard, MIT, George Soros
and Peter Thiel.
Amazing.
What was the point of the conversation?
The point of the conversation was like free speech and Charlie Kirk and platforming radicals, and it wasn't interesting.
Who was Eric telling him he should silence?
I don't even remember.
The people who think he is a dangerous lunatic. Boy, did Eric look especially weird in this one? His eyes looked weird. Like I don't.
So did his peers. I wonder if Eric's had that plastic surgery that all the celebrities are being forced to have. Have you seen Bradley Cooper? He used to be so good looking, and now he looks like a monster.
What plastic surgery are they being forced to have?
It's something that makes their faces look puffy and blurry, and his eyes. I mean, we could pull up a picture.
Are you sure it's not just Ozempic?
No, it's plastic. I think they're all being forced to have plastic surgery. Have you seen Miley Cyrus? She doesn't even look like herself. But I'm especially sad about Bradley Cooper because he used to be cute.
All right, I'm gonna look him up. Hold on. Here, let's see. Miley Cyrus. Let me see. Oh my God. Well, she looks like okay, so which picture are you talking about? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy. Okay, then let's look at Bradley Cooper, you said?
Yeah, oh, it's so
That is a scary picture of Miley Cyrus.
Oh, yeah, she looks I mean, not Bradley that she was a looker to begin with, but look at, so it's that.
This one.
Yes.
Oh my God, what the fuck? It's like his face turned to clay and somebody like remodeled it or something like that.
Look how cute he was for his Star is Born. Like, men look good everyone looks good with age. It's just a psyop that convinces us that women don't.
Right.
But this guy did not need this on any level. I think it's one of their like satanic initiations now. I really do.
What happened? But like, what is wrong with Miley Cyrus? Like, what happened?
I mean, she's born into MK Ultra.
Oh, she got veneers. She got her teeth done, but the whole thing looks fucking weird. I don't know. That she looks like a ghost. I'm not going to be able to get out of my mind. Okay. Jim Montgomery. Woo! Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay. Let's go to the chat room. Questions, comments, all capital letters, please.
Also, do you want to share our announcement?
We have an announcement. Dani and I both have a lot of things going on that we need to tend to. So for the foreseeable future, the live stream is going to be every other week rather than every week. And so we will not be with you guys next week, but we will be with you on November 12th and then again on November 26th. And yeah, so we're going to do that for now and we'll see what happens. So we'll just love you even more when we're here and they'll give you guys a chance to miss us just a little bit, you know.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't see any questions. We might be done.
Hold on.
Robert recommended a new video for us.
I
I have it queued. Thank you for sending. Neo the home robot.
Okay.
Barf. Yes, Peter Thiel's an anagram for the reptile.
Yeah. I feel like it's frozen. I can't like
mine was frozen. I had to reopen it. They're messing with us today.
Well, for me, the chat box always gets messed with, but usually I don't know whatever's going on today.
Last call for all caps questions for your favorite Yentas.
That's right.
Because someone's going to a city council meeting tonight to present the mayor with a notice of liability.
Explain. Do explain. My thing's all frozen, so.
We've been circulating a petition for the past 6 months about Hispanic discrimination under this administration.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight we're presenting it with our demands for remedy and repair, and they have 21 days before we escalate.
I love it.
Thanks.
It's you and who?
I can't say.
Okay. Is it a group of people or is it just you and your usual partner in crime?
It's the usual partner in crime, but we're working with a group.
Got it. Okay. Okay, I can't see the chat box anymore, so is yours still frozen?
Okay, so we have 2 questions. Yenta
Perfect.
Costume party plans? No for me.
There's a conspiracy cocktail this Friday at 6 p.m. Central. It will be just, we're just going to get weird. It's going to be, woo-woo talk with Robert Phoenix and Masaki Miyagawa.
Fun.
Yeah. So
are
if
you
guys,
dressing up for that?
No. I am only ever me.
Aw.
I'm only
We all
ever me.
win. Kat has a question for you that I don't feel comfortable languaging.
Okay.
I don't want to program your reality.
Okay, I can't see it, so
she's asking if you. I don't want to phrase
okay,
it like this.
Okay, but I have in my mind not to accept any programming from the language, so I'm just going to hear the words. So go ahead.
Do you still have Morgellons or Havana syndrome or any form of specific targeting?
Well, I've never had Havana syndrome at all.
Okay.
And like I don't have any of the sort of expressed stuff before that, like for a period of my time in my life, like matched up to what I believe was more. I don't know for sure what that was or whatnot. So no, I don't have that. And like no, I don't think they're doing like this is just my opinion. And so when I say this is what I think. And when I express an opinion, it's not to refute anyone else's research or opinions or whatever. It's just where I'm at in my understanding of things. I don't think that is super active anymore on the level that it was for a period of time, because I feel like they kind of got the data. They did the recon and the research that they needed to do. Yes.
I do have one of these. And I just figured this out this week.
Oh, you have one there. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So, you know that I've been parasite cleansing for like a year.
Right.
And after our Sasquatch camping, I adopted some of the recommendations, and some stuff has been coming out of me that I'm like, this is new and I need to look it up. So I looked it up, and what came up was rope worms.
Mm-hmm.
But what the internet said is rope worms don't exist. They're pseudoscience. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. That means the powers that were don't want to acknowledge this. So let me dig deeper. So I started to dig into what are some of the wildest conspiracies around rope worms. So I found the white paper, and there are 5 stages of rope worms, which is exactly what I've been dealing with, having mislabeled as candida, because realistically, I didn't have any of the candida symptoms.
Right.
But apparently, it's like a bioweapon that they want to pretend only conspiracy theorists and anti-vaxxers believe in.
To be clear, I'm not saying Morgellons doesn't exist. I was talking about the like targeting programs.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is I believe that I've been targeted with rope worms because that's what's coming out of me.
Okay. So I think we have like I don't have so many of those like symptoms that I used to for a long time, had all kinds of stuff going on. And I think there's all kinds of weird nanotech things out there that are I think some are there because they just don't care and they're doing whatever they want. They don't care about the environment or our bodies or whatever. And some are more like intentional, right? Some are definitely more intentional. I don't know how much of it is specific targeting and how much of it is more just like a general population, like certain groups of people. Like when I was having it, I really think that for me, it came through the drugs, right? Like, cause that's a group of people that nobody cares about, that you can run tests on, and anything that they say, they're like, oh, well, that person's a drug addict, right? But I think a lot of the nanotech or the strange, like, the Shigella bacteria that like Charlie talks about and different things like that. I think a lot of that can be in a number of normal publicly marketed products in addition to having been in drugs back then, right? So I think one of the places that they would do that for sure would be like people who are trying to use natural health things in order to cleanse themselves. If they're, like whenever some new natural product becomes the thing that everyone must take, to me, the first thing I think of is like, have they weaponized that? Is there something in there? Because now they know that all the conspiracy theorists are taking that. So I was kind of separating the Morgellons from the targeting in the question and the way that she asked it, right? Like, I think that we go through different phases of like when things are like super specific and active, and then other phases where it's like, okay, maybe there's some remnants, but that's not like the main thing anymore. My personal like feeling right now is like, just like anything, like, sure, a person can target you. I've had some pretty weird things happen to me sometimes, right? But I guess I see them more as like individual circumstances, and a lot of my own issues are issues of my own making. And I have found for myself that like when I take responsibility for my own issues, that also the noise of all the other stuff seems to go down. And that doesn't mean that there wasn't a there about it. It just meant that it interfaces with my own like insecurities, my own points of not maybe doing the best things for myself in a way that exacerbates all of that. So the way that I've quieted the noise for myself on all of that is just by like my self-talk, the way I talk to myself, the things I choose to believe about myself, and the way I take care of myself. And like for me, either those things are not happening anymore, or they're happening and I don't care. I don't know which one it is, right? There was a time when I was very, very focused on it and it felt like it consumed my whole life. And as I sort of worked through my stuff and it seemed like I gained distance from that. And when I say seen, because some of that stuff may go on and it just doesn't have my attention anymore. So I can't give a clear answer about, I think for everyone it's different. I know that's a thing that has been done and probably on some level always has and always will be done. But I also just from my own experiences and from working with lots of people who have had these experiences or who still believe they do, that like what's going on in here is like the great amplifier or de-amplifier of whatever is going on out there.
What you're saying is resonant, and does not line up at all with my experience, because I've never considered myself a target of any of this stuff on any level. I also don't eat sugar, don't eat grains, don't eat carbs, don't eat fruit. I eat nothing that would feed parasites. And it's only after a year of parasite cleansing where I'm like, how are so many things continuing to come out of me when I'm not eating anything that I would even get these things from or that would feed them? And then when I figured this out, I've been trading notes with Miriam on it. So now it's opening up a conversation, but I didn't know ropeworms existed.
So in your case,
nor that they were so controversial.
So one of the things that I would say, like what I said about, like I always have had fear that natural supplement companies could become infiltrated in the same way that like drugs did that were illegal. And right, you don't eat sugar, you don't eat carbs or any of that kind of stuff, but you do take a lot of supplements. So if even one supplement that you're taking, right, that you for either good reason or just belief or whatever think is good for you, so you continue to take over a long period of time, right? Like that could be a place where something is coming in.
For sure.
Right. And like I started to get really like concerned about this back during like when the first when alternative media people started like having their own supplement line and started selling, like, remember when Alex Jones started like the Tangy Tangerine? I'm like, what kind of chemical poisoning could have been? This was like back in like 2010 or 2009, right? It's like, it literally was fucking Kool-Aid. Like it tasted like fucking Kool-Aid, right? And so, oh, you have all the conspiracy theorists buying the Kool-Aid from the Kool-Aid dealer. What else could be in there, right? And then, you know, and a lot of these like people who have these product lines, they're not making them themselves. Like they're licensed. They're basically getting some manufacturing company to do it for them. They don't understand where it's coming from, right? Yeah. So for me, like that's probably the most likely place. Is it where we think the answer is often where the problem is.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. I have to run, but there are questions for you in the chat. So
unfortunately, I can't see the chat box. I'm still on black. I'm just going to show you guys what I see. This is what I see. So I can't take them. And Dani has to go. So we will see. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Good night. Bye. What's the name of the show?
Get us off.
Okay.